Check, check. Wi-Fi. Got it.
DJ Swift on the tune.
Okay. It don't matter, baby. Oh, sweet. I got a good one-take picture. That never happens. You're good luck. You are good luck to me. Thank you so much again for letting me come up in there. It's not the last time.
That's an open invite.
And I know I caught some saltiness from Gemini and them because I wasn't there when they were there, but...
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's like, nigga.
On our website's front page, where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Which is a little weird.
Android users, the VoxWave app is now available in the Google Play Store. Download the app today on your Android device to listen in and view programs.
They fired a lot of my friends. Yeah, like Free and Pablo. They fired what? Big Tig on his birthday. Yeah. So, So I think with KYS, it's like the home station, and anybody like, let's say...
VoxWave now features a streaming radio media player on our website's front page, where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832.
You got me for the...
Yeah, you playing it?
Yeah. No sound.
We just tested it.
There it is. You hear it? Let's back it up because it says... You hear it?
Okay, Mr. Oh my God.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, what's going on, man? It's your boy DJ Money, a.k.a. Mr. Oh my God again.
Yeah.
And right now, you tune into the sexy Southern girl, Fantastic, on Fantastic Live.
We will get it together. I mean, maybe I should have probably said, let's wait until I actually get it all together before we show my ugly face. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Fantastic Live Show. I'm MC Fran. So, I'm here with Shy, who's my special guest engineer. Appreciate you. The only thing I need from Shy is to make sure that you're not all Reggie. And by that, it means that you pull the camera out so it doesn't get so close to me, because I know I look fat. You think so?
Hell no.
There we go. If we just bring it out. There we go, honey. That's it. I'm not high maintenance. All I ask is that I get the camera far away from me as possible. Anyway, 240-719-2560. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a minute. It's been a long time. I know. I'm sorry. The holidays are here, which is not my favorite time of the season. I mean, a lot of people hate the holidays, and I do myself hate the holidays. And I think just because, you know, I spent a lot of time moving and traveling. Both of my parents were Marines. So as I grew up, it's just like I kind of kept a backpack, and I never really parked one place for a long time for 20 years because everybody knows, God knows, that for the past like 20 years I've been partying my ass off. And just kind of like not setting down any roots anywhere was like completely strange to me. So I would live in these places and not have my family, you know. So I was like, fuck the holidays. I don't have any family. I would hide myself, you know, in my house or apartment or wherever I was at the time. To just try to get away from it. But no matter what you do, you can't get away from it. I mean, shit. My birthday's on Cinco de Mayo, so I can't really get away from that. Every year it's like, oh, let's party. I'm like... And shout out to the little, I was once a host or working as a bartender at this place, and it was my 30th birthday, and I was really, really upset about it. And I had to go to work and get off at midnight or whatever. And I walked into work, and I was just crying to the little hostess. And she was like, Fran, oh, my God, are you okay? Did somebody die? And I was like, no, I'm turning 30. And it was like a meltdown of all meltdowns. And she looked at me, and I looked at her, and I felt how stupid I looked at that moment. Because life does go on, you know, and I always promised her every year she wishes me a happy birthday and reminds me of that moment. And I learned, you know, I'm like aging like fine wine and shit. Like it's not that bad, you know. See, that's why we have him around. Absolutely. I think now, and I see these pictures of myself, like looking back on all these people, all these events that I've done, and I am literally like aging backwards. And I really think that's because I'm not as high or drunk. I'm just saying. It will do it. It was aging me, and I had all these photos where I'm just like angry or like, you know, all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, because I was coming down. Anyway, so this year has been a totally different circumstance. I am towards my family. You know, they all live around where I'm living now. So I'm actually, you know, there and not just popping in, you know, to say hello, make a cameo, and then leave and run back up here and party with everybody. So it was a good time to actually spend with my family. And, of course, I had to spend it with my family. But, you know, everybody's family is different. The holidays bring out the good or the bad in people. My family is really, really small. So I don't have all these cousins and all these people I can holla at. Like, literally, I had to grow up gangster on my own because I had nobody to defend me. I couldn't call people to come beat up these dudes and, you know what I mean, who disrespected me. And my brother, he's a sensitive guy. So he didn't do much to, they told me to stop doing this because that's like...
That's not a bad word now.
This is right here is a bad word, I feel like. So, because I was like hitting on this dude from USA 9, who he remained nameless. He was hitting on me. And then I showed my family, and they were like, so I was like, no, never mind. So anyway, I'm not really good with that kind of radar. So anyway, my family, we have to get along. I'm the oldest sister, and even though, you know, I'm 10 years apart from my other sisters, right now, which is crazy, in my late 30s, I'm actually trying to be a good role model for them because I never was. I literally was just out there living for the moment. And that's what happens when you're running the streets and gang and, you know, doing all this type of stuff. Like, you are constantly having to live in the moment because you never know when it's going to be gone. So retiring from that scenario in my life, I have started to look at things in a different way, look at family in a different way, like what's most important. Because we see now, I mean, right before Thanksgiving, Kim Porter passed away, which is so sad to me personally. Number one, everybody knows I get really like emotional kind of when people die in the media, music, film industry, Anthony Bourdain or Robin Williams or Kim or anybody, but this time it was different. Usually I get kind of upset because people don't understand what people in the limelight go through. It's really, really hard. There's been times when mean things about me have gone viral, And you know what I mean? Trying to look to catch up and live up to other people's, you know, kind of standards for you is really hard in the media society because, you know, you come across as everything is perfect when shit is really crashing down all around you. So I honestly know what it's like, you know, to not really take care of my mental health and to feel like a slave to all that social media shit. You know what I mean? And to feel like a slave to the people that, you know, they build you up to pull you down. So everybody knows it kind of hits me hard when something like that happens, when people, you know, decide to give up or whatever, because I've been there and I've had to pull myself up out of that and realize that tomorrow is a new day. And, you know, I've been homeless, I've been struggling, I've been starving, I've been in the trenches with a lot of crazy, wild, violent shit. And I managed to get through that. So who am I to just kind of say, fuck it, you know, and give up? I got to keep pushing. But when somebody who's just so beautiful and much esteemed and amazing just passes away, it feels like an auntie to us, right? Yeah. Most people who do know me know that Diddy is my number one. And I love him. And I'm like, deep down, I'm a Ciroc girl.
You know, he's kind of...
Stop! Oh, my God. Get out. That's it.
I'm just saying,
You're done. You're fired. Don't.
You like a nigga told me. How about that?
I'm going to... You guys, I'm act like he didn't even say that. Because I love Shy so much, I'm not even going to pause this and... Are you kidding me? So, I'm used to people not really agreeing with Diddy being my number one, but he's just so amazing, and I just love him so much, and you guys can suck it. This is like a 20-year love affair we have been having.
He's a wonderful entrepreneur, yes.
Thank you. Exactly. I want that man who is like... at the top of his game, able to swag and hustle his way through things. And he's got the drive, right? He's a Scorpio, so he's a nasty mother. But that's besides the point. He's just a driven person who knew that Diddy, you know, from, what is it? What's the name with the dude with the nose? Humpty Hump video, you know, just kind of dancing or he what's the word? He was a dancer. And he went to Howard and all these different things, so he was a backup dancer. Exactly. So to come from that to, you know, becoming the manager of Uptown and all these different things to having Ciroc and you know, what is it, De Leon and all these different things that he has done, it makes my, okay, it just gets me.
You just like that Forbes list.
You know, that billion doesn't hurt either. But it affects me deeply when things affect me. Like, I really loved it when he kicked Cassie's ass out. Like, that really, really made me feel like we had a like we were really bonded. Like, he knew what I wanted from him. So anyway, shout out to Cassie, girl. No, you know, I'm not going to cause any issues, but with that said, I absolutely love him and I feel his pain. I mean, this, you know, growing up in the 90s, you know, that era and everything, and dancing to More Money, More Problems in the living room, and seeing Quincy be born and all of his kids, and now they're all grown up and they're all fine as hell. I mean, they're legal.
We grew up with him.
We did. So it's like to feel their mother pass away it really hits you hard. So I just want to send a quick shout out to everybody who she touched and loved and, you know, made feel good. And it kind of just, as soon as it happened, it was like, Diddy can afford to do anything for his children and himself. He can afford to take all the most lavish trips and go anywhere in the world at any day and do anything he wants to do. But the one thing he can't do is stop the hands of time. Like when the Grim Reaper or whatever you want to say, or when God calls you home, like that's it. You can't buy that. You can't stop it. And I know that that's a shocking thing because he's given his children everything.
How did that make you want to hug people that are close to you? Talk about that a little bit.
It absolutely did because, you know, I was, like I said, I was gone all the last couple of years, just kind of up here trying to make it and doing my own thing, which was fine. It was great. I've done that. I've achieved that. But I was hopping from couch to couch. After I had my car accident, I was moving. So everything I owned was on 95. So I lost all of that. So I had no place. And so jumping from couch to couch, I was missing my family, who my sister had a baby, and he's now 2.5. And, you know, he wouldn't have known who I was last year. Do you know what I mean? And my sisters, we have this kind of, you know, they're not on my social medias. I have a whole separate life from my family. Yeah, because I was doing all the wrong things. You know what I mean? And the old Fran, I've had this show, the Fantastic Live show. This is season 3, but I've had 6 radio shows. And I used to be shock jock Howard Stern. I used to say fucked up things about Beyonce. I used to go in on people local. I used to just say whatever for the likes and the comments and the views and stuff like that. Yeah. So I didn't want my sisters to hear their older sister saying some crazy shit, because we're from a family where we don't curse in front of our parents still. Right. We don't drink in front of our mother. You know what I mean? So, I didn't want that. But having to come home and seeing all these people pass away in 2018, and literally I was this close from not me giving up, but I could have lost my life last year. So now being home, being with my family, and having them just love and accept me through clear eyes is so different. Because when you're drunk and high all the time, you're really paranoid. So I'm like, they know I'm high. They know I'm doing this. They know I'm working here. It really does. Because I know they saw through all that and they still didn't judge me. They still didn't say anything, And I thought I was doing great. I thought I was looking awesome with my lipstick all messed up and, you know what I mean? My weave everywhere. And
a functional addict.
I mean, honestly. Yeah. And so it's, it was, I didn't see any different because I've been doing it for 20 years. You know what I mean? So.
Nobody pulled you aside and said, hey, you might be slipping a little bit?
Well, I shout out to KYS because I came in with the Queens, Resurrecting Queens, a couple years ago, and we did an interview with Easy Street. And we had a meeting one day, and it was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon over at some library over on Silver Spring or whatever. And we were supposed to get there, whatever, at a certain time, and I was late. And it was 3 o'clock, and I get there, and I already had a bottle next to me, and I was swigging it on my way up there, a bottle of champagne, because that's my thing. I was drinking champagne, like popping bottles. I was drinking on the way up there, and so when I got there, I was pretty much wasted. And so I didn't know it, but we were having a meeting, and I was laughing through it and cutting people off, and when they were telling me to be quiet, I was like, this is getting real in here, because I never shared this story. They were like, be quiet. And I thought they were all like hating against because they're 24 women. We were 24 women, right?
Kind of catty.
So it was crazy because I'm the only woman who kind of looks like this, I'll say. So it was a little rough. But, we managed to work things out sometimes. And so when I got there, I didn't realize it. But then I picked a fight with somebody who was there and ended up trying to flan or whatever, and got on the phone with some dude that was taking me to a date afterwards at the meeting. It was just crazy, but I didn't recognize it as being volatile. Yeah. So as I walk away and get in my car, swig some more tequila, mix with champagne, drive over to wherever, Ben's next door, I got a phone call that night. And it was one of the queens saying, listen, we're worried about you. It's 3:30 in the afternoon and you're drunk.
And then because they could have just dropped you right there and said, we don't want to talk to you.
Right.
Somebody pulled you aside.
Right. Yeah. And what I didn't realize, Shy, is that whenever I was in the depths of that, whenever I would not drink or not smoke or whatever, I'm so emotional. I'm an emotional person when I drink. Not a crier, but I take things really emotionally, personally. So coming down off that stuff, I would get really angry and really, you know what I mean? And correct. So, I had to stop and think, listen, I have all these issues with all these women, and I can blame all of them for being how they are.
But you are the one person.
I'm the one common denominator.
Yes.
Of all of the not all of them, but the catty stuff.
That
and
means, though, that you have the ability, albeit maybe a little late, to see and make corrections on your course.
Right. And
you should be proud of that.
Thank you. So she told me that her mother was a healing person, and she asked me if I would like to go to, the one girl told me, she was like, you had lipstick all over your face, you were like, eyes were rolling in the back of your head, you were just like, your clothes were hanging off, because I was super skinny, and she was like, my mother would like to come and pick you up and take you to North Carolina for a healing retreat.
Really?
And was I going to say, right, was I going to say no? Go fuck yourself? Right? So I felt no other options. At this point, I was staying from hotel to hotel, working at Bethesda, living across the street. It was hard. And it was so hard on me that, when you're by yourself in a hotel room or with somebody else who isn't the best example, all you want to do is be fucked up because you don't want to think about real life. Yeah. But at that moment, I was like, I can continue to do this and die and lose everything around me, or I can just go and see what happens. So her mother picked me up from Virginia and drove me all the way to North Carolina. Did a lot of healing, did a lot of sobering up, which was a horrible experience because there was a lot of things going on in this body that, I hadn't, right. And I hadn't recognized how many different ingredients were in here until I was coming off all that shit. But at the same token, it was like, it wasn't just that. It was having issues with people. Like, I was in the game really, really deep. And I was having someone close to me stole a heck of a lot of money from me during one of these situations. And it was somebody really famous in the D.C. Area. Somebody who's a famous artist out here stole it. And so I was so angry at that point. And yeah, I didn't have brothers growing up or cousins and things like that, but I did have a lot of gangsters. So I also had to weigh the options. We can go tit for tat. Somebody's going to probably lose their life. You know what I mean? Or I can just purge, let it go, get some healing, and chalk it up to the game,
You can make that money back, but you make some of those moves that you can't take back.
Right, right. And that was the first time in my life I was like, listen, this ain't worth it. Like, I have too much to live for. I know this person's kids. Like, this is a story that I haven't told publicly for the sake of kind of, keeping anonymity, but I chose to go to a healing environment. I chose to change the course of my life, and it was literally the best thing I've ever done, for myself. I still remain in a little bit of trouble. It's been hard because I've only known the streets, really.
Do you have a support structure?
My mom. I thought I did. I thought I had the support of everybody in the community. I mean, I've been out here for years feeding the homeless and donating money and, just being a part of a lot of charity events.
Well, when you turned around and needed help, felt like they weren't there?
You spoke for me.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
No, you literally just said all I needed to say in one sentence. Because when it was my turn, when I was laying on that gurney in the hospital after my accident, when I was at the worst point of my life, yeah, people out here, they donated to the GoFundMe. Great, thanks. But did they call?
Did they come see you?
Did they come see me? So after the accident did happen, I stayed on the couch of another really famous person in D.C. Who shall remain nameless, but you would think somebody of that philanthropic level would have been there to, with open arms. Fran, are you okay? Because I was wearing the same bloodied clothes with the name of their charity on my shirt.
Wow.
Is what they gave me for a couple days. Slept on that couch for the night that happened, and then the next day they said, so we got to go to work. Can we drop you off at the McDonald's over here on Southeast and then pick you up every day when we get back?
Oh, wow. That felt like you were abandoned.
Like not only was I abandoned, but what am I going to steal?
Well,
do you know what I mean?
That's the implication.
That's horrible. That right there, and I'm just, came to terms with that. I don't really speak to that person unless we're out and people see us, the society. Let's take a picture. I hate you. I got over that fact, but I'll never forget it. Yeah. I'll never forget how when I desperately needed people to pick up the phone, answer the phone, that they didn't.
But somewhere along this journey, you learned to be your own light. You said you didn't grow up with, there's a bunch of brothers and sisters out there to help you in the situation.
Right.
So I think that made you stronger.
It did, absolutely. Mm-hmm. The only regret I have in my life, because I've done a lot of fucked up shit, and I've been in a lot of things, but the only regret...
You're the only one?
Right. So, who's calling me on the hotline? It's a fantastic live show. Who's this?
This is B Moore.
Hey, what's up?
What's up with you?
I'm good.
You are wilding out.
Have we met? I mean, who doesn't know that I wild out? I mean, it's an hour show. What else am I going to do but be crazy and wild?
But are you on a fuck them mission or what?
Please elaborate. I don't know whatever do you mean. First of all, tell everybody exactly who you are and where you're from. Go ahead and drop your...
Oh, okay. This is B Moore from Ish Talk TV.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for being on our show. I just want to say, good show. I appreciate. I love watching it.
Thank you, baby.
You are wilding out at the moment. First, you tell the story about the resurrecting queens. I was like, oh my God, you are just.
Listen, I have to be.
And then you thought they were hating on you.
It's not. Listen, because when you met me, I was truly like going nuts. But at the same token, it takes a strong person to admit that I was wrong. You know what I mean? It wasn't the easiest.
Do you think it hurt your chances?
For what?
Any opportunities
for
of you wilding out like that?
No, it literally didn't. It actually, everybody loved the Fran that didn't give a fuck. Everybody loved the Fran that was always partying and drunk and didn't care and lived for the moment. Now, when it came down to the queens, our separation had literally nothing to do with me and everything to do with the changes, and everybody kind of grew apart, I'll say. But with me, it you know what I mean? Everybody loved that. But whenever, they always say, be more like, nobody cares when the tears of a clown fall down. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So when I was the clown on a puppet string and being fun and being crazy, everybody loved that. When I was the life of the party and bringing all the alcohol and all the stuff, everybody loved that. But the minute I was like, shit, I got to get up. I got to grow up. I'm almost fucking 40, be more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have to get up, get out, and do something. Everybody was like, oh, no, wait.
All right. So what about, you still have some hatred towards the people the person that dropped you off at the McDonald's?
No hatred. No, absolutely not. It hurt me, and I'm just sharing the story and how I felt at the moment. Because this was a year and a half ago almost, and I don't like to make people feel bad or have negative energy or you know me, But
so after the accident, you realizing who's on your team and who's not, right?
Absolutely. And it was just, because, and I know maybe it sounds a little entitled, a little, narcissistic, but if I'm giving you everything of mine to help you and your things that you've got going on and putting my money into it and giving you my heart, my soul, my everything into your projects for you.
To your events.
Correct. For years and years, I've done that. And the moment that I actually get a chance to lay down and not be in pain, you say, can I drop you off at the local McDonald's so I can go to work? Like, you know what I mean? It hurt me at that time.
Maybe wanted to give you a McGriddle or something to hold you down.
You're such an idiot. Didn't even offer to buy me any food. I had nothing but a bag from the hospital and bloody clothes. You know what I mean?
No hash browns?
Not a hash brown, not a dollar fry, nothing. So
that's cool. I see what you're talking about.
You see what I mean? I'm past that, and I have to see that person all the time, and I still say, I love you, I wish you the best or whatever, but nobody, I just want that person to understand what that did to me, but he probably never will. And if he doesn't, whatever. This year is for me, right? And becoming Fran, not just Frantastic, who's been living Frantastic life, you know what I mean? But just being Fran for a moment, and still having people accept, like you, accept and love me for who I am. And can I just say thank you for having me back on the show? That was fucking lit.
Yeah, no problem. I love to watch your progression and you being your true self. I appreciate it. So
thank you so much.
I'm gonna keep watching the show and I'm gonna keep drinking this box wine. I'm going to have a good night, all right?
Is it Franzia box wine? Because if it's not made by me. Thank you so much, babe. I love you so much, and I really appreciate you supporting me all these years and just allowing me to be myself.
All right. Y'all, peace, y'all.
Thank you, baby. Bye-bye.
Talk TV. Peace out.
That was so sweet. That was awesome. Can I just say congratulations to Ish Talk for everything that they've done. Thursdays, you can tune into Ish Talk TV. That is where Frantastic Live Show Season 2 took place. And they gave me an opportunity again to come back. I think it was the week that I came to visit you when I did the 3 functions. I went from PGC, KYS, and then Ish Talk TV, which was an amazing week. Yes. And it's just... If you look back on those pictures of me where I had the Frantastic Live Hour is what it was called on their particular radio station, you can just see in the pictures, of me kind of coming up and coming down. I mean, I always say, And obviously he knows, and you're getting to know me. I'm not there's no shame in my game. Like, I will admit the hardships and the bad things that I've done wrong, because I want to stop somebody else from making those mistakes, but to also see you can rise from the ashes and become a phoenix. You know, so I always say that if you see how Kanye and Cudi and all these people like Britney Spears or whomever, you know, Kanye put blonde in his hair and Cudi did too, and Britney shaved her head. Like, for a moment when I was on Fantastic Live Hour and Ish Talk over almost 2 years ago, I went blonde, like platinum blonde. And I always say to people, like, you know when somebody's really fucking losing it? When they bleach their hair. Or when they shave their hair because they like, I need a new beginning. You know what I mean? That means that they're, you know what I mean? Okay. So they are crashing and burning and just trying to shave away that stuff. Right? So I was literally going through all this stuff and nobody really kind of knew, you know? But if you see those pictures, those photos of me where I'm super, super skinny and have this short, blonde, ugly animal dying on my head, like, you guys will understand, like, you can just witness and see. So it's hard to live your life in the public eye, you know? But instead of me kind of closing off and being wasted for it, I've opened my eyes and just I'll be more, I know he is looking out for me because he wants to make sure that I'm not sitting in that or wallowing in that past, that history, that emotions, those feelings. And instead, here's where I'm at. No more rose-colored glasses. Like, I can see, my eyes are clear now, you know? So the rain is gone. So I'm really grateful for what happened to me with the whole McDonald's gate. I'm really happy, not happy, but you know,
he know who he is if he was listening in.
Right.
Yeah.
And
have you ever had this conversation?
No, which is so crazy. It means of the world to me that he actually called him, because when I go on the air, I just was changing into Fantastic. Everything's great. Everything's fine. Good luck. You know what I mean? Dick, you know, nipples, you know what I mean? Just kind of being wild and crazy for, you know, thank you to everybody who's watching and sending me messages and everything. Remember, 240-719-2560. They never really saw that part of me, you know. They saw when I was like, you know, having, you remember I told you being over emotional or being quick to anger or any other type of stuff. But I was just like, oh, it's all right, drink, you know. So
can you understand when like celebrities that get these bad reputations and like, oh, I can't be around her because she's, you know,
right.
I'm trying to think of who like would had a real bad reputation as a diva.
Right.
Or, you know,
there's the K. Michelles of the world. There's the, you know what I mean? Who, yeah, I mean, she can be a bitch, but she's also very, what's the word? Driven, where people don't really know. I knew that in that situation with the queens, I was becoming a diva. Yes. Absolutely. And I've never told them that, really. I've apologized to them for everything that happened over the course of that. But there's still some undone, you know, deep-seated things that go on. But like I always say, you know, I wouldn't have talked about the situation if I didn't think there was hope. Yeah. We will always be like New Edition or any of those groups who come together later in years and perform together. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We did that. We did the Howard. We did the Fillmore. We performed for the mayor. We've made history together. Yeah. And we will do that again soon. But again, we're 24 women. Some people have had children. Like 5 of them have had kids. People have gotten married. People have moved away, you know? So things happen. And I don't hold any ill will against anybody. I don't, because I had to understand and learn that affects me. Nobody gives a shit if I'm mad at them or don't fuck with them or have an issue with it. Yeah.
It took me a while to figure that out.
Yeah. I was only killing myself, right? So to answer your question, the last thing I wanted was Fran, because my reputation is good in these streets. I didn't use a casting couch to get here. I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't.
Mess people over.
No. Right. I never stole, you know, killed anybody to get here. So I want people to remember my legacy as somebody who did good within the community that people do like, but it wasn't becoming that. When people said, don't work with you, they don't want to work with you, blah, blah. I was like, nobody would ever say that about me. The fuck? You're obviously hating, you know? Right. But on the off chance there were a couple of women or people that I was rude to or, you know, had issues with or whatever, that I was, you know, just kind of looking for things and reaching for having beef with women or whatever, you know, which is also why I'm going to the Titan Awards. Let's talk Titan Awards. Titan Awards, local award show, which we performed for before, me and the Queens. And I know going to the Titan Awards, because I know almost every person who is up for an award, I've interviewed them. Almost every single person up for an award I've interviewed has been in this chair or one of the other 5 chairs. And I know going into the Titan Awards, there are people there that I may or may not have had some sort of issue with. And instead of going into it wearing combat boots and thinking, who the fuck want what? Right. Instead of looking at it that way, I'm going in with open arms and saying, listen, can we just move past that shit? You know what I mean, Shy? Yeah. I know that the end result is me being on terrestrial radio somewhere within the city. You know, I know that that's the...
And beyond that, the end result is you loving yourself.
Right.
Being in a stable, happy place.
Exactly. So now that I'm at that stable, happy place where even if I have all these major issues going on in my life, I don't let it beat me down.
Right.
I know that there's so much more for me out there. And we have to, as media, Ish Talk, Titan Awards, KYS, PGC, all of the, people in this media industry, we have to stick together. I'm not an artist, so I've never had this competitive nature. I've always been one to bring up the artist and highlight them because that's my job. So instead of me feeling like, because sometimes artists feel in competition with me, which is so crazy because I'm not making fucking music out here. But with that said,
you
if I...
any competition towards any other hosts?
I don't. I never have.
Wow.
And so it's just so crazy that one of those people who said you're telling people don't ever work with her, she was a host at one of these radio shows 20 years ago. She was at the top of her game, and she feels like now I'm everything that, from her words, that I'm everything now that she could have been if life hadn't have handed her a bad deck of cards. Anonymity. I won't say her name or what she was going through. But with that said, it's like I've never been in competition with her or anybody else. Yeah. I'm literally Fran in my own lane. I'm a fucking weirdo. Like he said, I am wilding out all the time. I have this normal energy, which is why I don't do uppers, because you know what I mean? I don't need it. But there's only one me. And the things that I do are very different. And I'm a lot older than people take me for. So I've been through a lot of shit. I've done this radio thing from the ground up, and I've done it with my own swag and in my own way, so nobody really compares. But at the same token, if I see another woman and she wants to sit down on my stage, or sit down in my chair, absolutely. So it's just so wild because a lot of women feel like there's only room for one of us up here. I would like to, whenever there's I go to an event and one of these young girls comes up to me and says, I wish I could do what you've done. I've always wanted to do radio. How did you get here? What can you do? I give them all the advice in the world. Because why not? Why not share all of the, the things that I've done and all the lessons that I've learned in this? Because if we are going to make it in D.C., if we are going to finally pop off or whatever, we have to do it together.
And you impact people's lives, too.
And thank you. I learned over the course of this to not sit up here and talk shit about everybody or woe is me or, talk about my life and the things that are going on. But I also I've had people call me up or tweet at me or send me messages that said they were suicidal. I've done quite a few shows on mental health and suicide. 1-800-273-TALK. You are not alone. And have called me and said, you saved my life. I checked into rehab, or I went to the mental health, went to the, place to get counseling, right? It's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to, if I can sit down here on the most public of forums, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, voxwave.com. Just click the Fantastic Live when you see it. That I managed to change people's lives and make them think about going into, not to be afraid of their dreams, or not to sleep their way to the top, or, you know what I mean? To just kind of, if I can get on this very public platform and tell you guys about me and my life every week and tell you about the bad things along with the good, why not? Anybody can.
The stuff you got through.
Yeah.
Life is going to throw you some curveballs.
Right.
But you survive.
Yes. Thank you. And it's all about surviving and making sure that the next people that come behind me say, well, damn, Fran did that. Let me just do this, or she did that. Well, let me do what she did. And I don't have to even know about it, but it makes me feel good to know that people are listening. They are paying attention. I do have this effect and impact on their lives. Yes. Now, if I could have the effect and impact on a rich man and,
on that bank account.
You know what I mean? If I could have a sugar daddy, because I'm fucking waiting, that would be great. I can't listen. Can somebody just, come and save me from being single? Then that would be the only thing that I, haven't gotten from this. Because a lot of times, I've had a couple of co-hosts, and some of them were male, and they were all amazing. Had one female co-host. They were great.
I mean, it must be real hard, though, to have a relationship and be in the industry. You know what I mean?
It's really difficult. And people, even who sit next to me and co-host with me, kind of think that I must just be open for business. That, I must just be dating everybody in society. Now, granted, there are a lot of people in this society that not a lot of people, but I know a lot of them, and I have dated a couple of them. And
You can do what grown folks do.
it's just... I'm really private about my personal life because I just don't want people to pick it apart. But at the same token, none of the relationships that I've had with any of these artists, DJs, or rappers, or anything has lasted very long. So I just decided, listen, I just want an AV nerd who reads books and doesn't want me to...
He couldn't get no pussy in high school.
And that's true. The nerds are what's up now. But that's what I want. I want the one that nobody wants. Does that make sense? Because the one with all the chains and all the bitches, I'm going to have to get used to that. And I don't want to.
You're probably going to have to babysit him and make some changes.
And all his kids.
Right.
I mean, the futures of the world. But... in all seriousness, it's a very difficult industry to date people in. People that I've dated years ago, now I have to, run into and see. And
they'll see you on TV.
And they do. And it's so crazy to know, Shy, because, a lot of them have all these girlfriends and women and stuff. And I'm the one that gets blocked. And I'm the one that gets all the attitude and all this shit. I'm like, case in point, I've been on tour with quite a few people, legends and stuff. And I meet the wives, and they have all these issues against me. I'm like, but I saw your husband with these groupies,
Right.
I'm not the one.
Right.
So it's really difficult being a part of the industry and keeping anything afloat. I know a lot of wives that have been with these artists for 20 years and just had to deal with illegitimate children, just had to deal with all these women. I'm not one to do that. So I need somebody who's definitely going to be for me. Call me if you're trying to date me. 240-719. 2560, it's the hotline. People always said we should do a dating show with the 3 people and do it behind. That would be cute, but y'all probably give me some horrible people, some ugly dudes. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I want the ugly guy because nobody wants him.
Maybe you can win a date and you'll never see what he looks like because he'll be a call-in.
Yes, they tried to do that on what was it, Valentine's Day. I only had 2 dudes though. Where was my third? Don't be rude. Who volunteered to be a part of it, but no, as Ron always tells me, I managed to make it this far with no kids. I don't deal with drama. I don't deal with the social media fronting type of crazy shit. So I need some real love, which is hard to find. People are stunting so much and faking their way. I'm not into sliding into DMs. I used to.
Well, dating has changed nowadays.
It has. I've been flown out a time or two, but nothing ever comes of that. You have to. People want the social media, what they see on there, but they don't want to woo a woman or put in the time. They don't. But I was sucking the life out of these 20-somethings for a long time, It gave me my life force, my life source.
That's the funniest thing I heard all
How Mario's that's how I would get. But now, I just kept getting older, and they just stayed young. So after a while, I realized that cougaring wasn't working for me either, because they literally were like, okay. I put something on Twitter or whatever the other day, and I was like, if a guy does something to you and you don't return the favor, are you automatically expected to go all the way? If he does something to you, are you expected to return the favor? And I was like, because I didn't. I was like, I was out. So I didn't really get a good reaction from the men. But most of the grown men were like, okay, well, it's all, sometimes it's about her. It's not always about, getting mine.
Before we go that far.
Right.
Say, I don't mind asking you, if I'm going to do this, can I get a little something too?
But if you're drunk and you are just playing, you're at a house party and shit happens or whatever, I was like, thank you so much. And then I was like, bye. And I know that affected them because they didn't talk to me ever again. But with that said, the young dudes were like, fuck that. I would never just, unless I knew for a fact that she was going to fuck and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to let her know or blah, blah. And I was like, that's because you're really, really young.
You're not trying to settle down and your mind is different at that age.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I just went to a wedding with my younger cousin. He was like, I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to get married.
That's what we all said.
That's right. I was saying the same thing. I wouldn't mess with you unless you was coming with your girlfriend. But at some age, you begin to mature and realize, hey, I can't run around everywhere. I need to settle down somewhere. Maybe with somebody that actually cares about me. You
know what, Shot? It took me until I hit, my early 30s to come to that, realization that, listen, you can't be a bachelor, bachelorette. You can't be a player forever.
You ever see the old people that are alone?
Right. And I'll marry rich before I'm alone for... Just kidding. You guys, I'm just kidding. Everybody knows that I am not like the gold digging type. But at this point, do you marry for love or do you marry for somebody who's really going to, settle down? But no. And
there's a nice equal point in between.
Sure.
And we know that guy that looked so good.
Right.
And could jump high and run fast.
Mm-hmm.
But was broke as hell. Right? So after a while, you're like, okay, we can do this. And then the trains roll off the tracks.
Right.
And you have a different understanding at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have any kids. I didn't want to settle down. I didn't want to do that. And then reality smacks you in the face like, bitch, you're getting old. Yeah. You don't have the money to be freezing eggs and shit. And
so who's going to take care of you in your old age?
Correct.
Who's going to spend that time with
Correct.
you? Who are you going to tell these stories to?
Absolutely.
Legacy.
I've been to the very, very top. I've had it all. But then when I go home and there's nobody there, what's the point of having it all if you have nobody to spend that time with?
To share it with.
Right, to share with and to talk about it with and to make you feel good about that. So as people were growing up and getting married around me and the dudes that I once felt feelings for are getting married to other bitches and having kids and stuff, other women, sorry, and having kids and stuff.
You think you lost your husband? Did you meet your husband at least once in the past? Or potential, you know what I mean? You probably did.
That's a good question. I honestly think that I have met my husband in the past, and I was just so afraid of settling down, so afraid, because I didn't know who I was, remember? I was living 3-4 lives, 3-4 different people at once, and was not comfortable with my body or who I was or what was going on with myself. Yeah. So I ran from that, or what's the word when you sabotage it?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
I've spent a long time sabotaging relationships. So, yes, I feel like that.
So that's taking ownership of it, that's
yes, see? And I want B more to understand that I'm taking ownership of all these things.
Right.
I'm not
I
just...
know some women that were dead wrong and will not... They know they was wrong.
Right.
They will not...
I'm not like that at all. Yeah. Like these women kind of, they start drama or have fights and they never admit that they're wrong. Well, that's not cool,
right. You can't.
You can't. You can't. And I wasn't right a lot of the percent of the time.
Right.
Okay?
And 40, more 80.
It was bad. It was bad. And I think that I treated the men who really wanted to give me time, spend time and really, I treated them like garbage. I literally treated men like men treated women. I mean, for a really long time. Let's just be honest. And I was a player.
Well, you know what? That's not entirely fair.
I know.
Subject off of you.
It was a horrible thing to say.
Because really, men get away with as much as women let us get away with.
Right.
We're simple creatures.
Right.
And if you do some things to curb some behaviors, you get the results you want.
Right. Absolutely. I didn't know that. I've never been in a long-term relationship, really.
There's some training.
So, yeah, I literally have had 2 boyfriends my whole entire life. Wow. So, and they only lasted a couple of years. So it's like, I don't know what it's like to be anybody's girl. I don't. I really don't. Because I'm used to...
You know how you would like to be treated?
Now I do. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You have to go around the barn a little bit to figure it out.
Yes.
But you know what you at least wouldn't want.
I do know what I don't want.
Yeah.
And that's important. Because I used to be just like, get up, get out, take everything you came with, and don't let the doorknob hit you,
Yeah,
But men also don't want to be treated like that.
No, nobody does.
Yeah. And, it sucks because some of the couple of, I'll say 2 that I think I let get away now have kids with other people and have families, and they went on in their lives, and I have to see that. And I'm totally happy for them, and I would never make them think otherwise. Right. But it's like...
But a kernel of you feels like, you know what, maybe
damn. He has some cute-ass babies. Like, damn, that could have been one of mine, and he's got this,
It's not all going to be easy, but at least you got somebody to wrestle with and hopefully it turns out good in the end.
For sure. You know what Joe Claire told me? He said you have to find somebody that you're willing to just put up with for forever, that you can kick it with and be okay with that forever. Right. And I used to be like, well, against marriage. My parents were Marines, but they were never married. So I never witnessed that relationship. My mom was always an independent black woman, don't need no man. You know, and it wasn't until she met my stepdad and had 2 more children did I see what it's like to have people be married in a household. Right.
Even her,
I never knew that. Correct. So then remember, my father was a pilot, so he was out whenever he could go out, and he might have little Asian children on another port. You never know. So deep down, it probably felt like abandonment or something. So maybe I was like, well, let me get rid of you before you leave me. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
Shout out to everybody hitting me up. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry to make you have a therapy session on that.
You know what? It's been a minute since I've had a therapy session on here. This is my therapy. Going on and doing my talk show is my therapy.
Dig into your work. That's what I did. When all them fools want to act crazy out there and they don't want to date you or whatever, you know what? I got some work to do.
Right. And now, like, I mean, I'm irresistible now. I mean, there you go. Just saying. There's a plethora of nudes in my DM, okay, to choose from. It's like United Nations or something. So anyway, with that said, you know, again, I take things that happen in my own personal life and I share them with you, even though I'm, you know, inherently private. I share things with people so that way you understand you're not the only one going through this shit. I'm still in the dating pool or whatever at 30-something, and I'm still working on myself because who wants to be with somebody who doesn't know who they are? Right. You know? You need to love yourself before you can love anyone else. So when I was chewing them up and spitting them out and getting my life force and all that type of stuff, like, I was just doing that to feel good about myself, like just feeling good to have these young dudes making me feel like, okay, like you are everything. You're such a queen. You're such important. But they don't know how to treat a queen. So I need a grown-ass man who looks at me the same way. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I think for all you women out there, you need to know your worth, know everything that you are. So that way when you do, because I guess when you fall in love, it just happens. Like you see that person, it's like boom in your eyes, like fucking heart-eyed emojis or whatever. Like, I guess. You know, I guess
that's the fairy tale love, but there is the practical love too.
What is that?
You're my coworker. I see you every day.
Been there, done that, and guess what? He knocked up our other coworker, and I had to work with them the whole time she was pregnant. Don't date your coworkers. Shy.
And I was wrong.
That's 2 for shy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But you know, I can't do the coworker thing. That definitely.
Yeah. That was a poor example.
It was a horrible example, but guess what? You know, 10 years later, he still calls me. So, guess who ended up on top of her baby daddy? So anyway, that was.
Don't be bringing up no happy homes now.
Sorry. They then broke up. Because remember, when you're with somebody that starts under false pretenses and horrible like that, because she sat next to me at the bar and was like, you guys look great together. You're so cute together. I'm happy. She wasn't drinking because she was already pregnant with his baby. So anyway, we know how that worked out. You can't be with him because you can't trust him. You know what I mean? Because he was obviously with me, but you know when he right. And I can never be with him. Because he knocked a bitch up whenever we were first starting out. Right. So, you know, every once in a while anyway. Yeah. But again, like you said, I've looked from everybody else's experiences and what they've gone through and what they've done. I know what not to do. I know what I don't want. I know I don't want to be a baby mama. I know that if I do become a baby mama and that's it, to get along with all the other baby mamas because it's not the kid's fault. Right. I know all these little things that lots of women kind of wouldn't realize because I've hung out with dudes my whole life and I also know how to cheat on somebody and them never know it hanging out with dudes, you know, but I've learned the bad things and the good things and, you know, just by being impartial and seeing how other people react to situations and what's good and what's bad and what not to do.
And getting a handle on your karma.
Absolutely, because man, if I was still living that way that I was, coming from California and being, you know what I mean? Like, if I was still living that life, my karma would definitely, and maybe I'm going through that now. Maybe this is my karma for all the crazy fucked up shit that I've done that I'm dealing with right now.
Well, sitting here is not that bad.
Hell no. The show must go on. I love this. I live this. And I'm so grateful. Really quickly, I got to talk about what's coming up. I didn't get a chance to talk too much about the Titan Awards, but I will be there and wearing my beautiful ball gown and my heels this year. Instead of looking for who the fuck want what, I'm going to just be looking good and smiling and shaking hands and kissing babies and stuff, you know? Because this year, it's just there's too much ugly stuff and hate in the world for us to have that out here. I'm not from D.C., but damn, we're an amazing culture. I'm a transplant, and everybody has accepted me, and I'm as DC as Mumbo Sauce. Go. Speaking of Mumbo Sauce, Mayor Bowser, just hush. I mean, just hush. And again, like I said, we got a chance to perform for her. She was an amazing, sweet person. But they're calling for her impeachment over this. This woman literally said that she was annoyed by Mumbo Sauce because she was a grown adult and she'd never heard of it until she, became or whatever, was grown up. And it's impossible. I feel like it's impossible. And say she'd never heard of Mumbo Sauce her whole life or whatever. But why take away something from D.C. that is our own?
You can't be the mayor and talk.
No. If it don't apply, let it fly. Like, I don't know who was saying something to her where she was trying to spit that out and be cute.
I think it was probably she was questioning. It wasn't just like she was searching for that.
Just throwing that out there. Yeah. Granted, she gave everybody something to talk about that wasn't about the murder of Micaiah Wilson or something, that hit us really deep. She gave somebody something else to discuss and to kind of, a little fun thing for people to read about instead of the horrible things people see or whatever. You have people across the country being like, why is the mayor saying this? But my point is that I would never take away. That's like saying we didn't invent go-go. It's just, it's kind of an ignorant statement. Sorry, but that's a horrible thing, and I say that because everything I always say always comes together. It always comes full circle to what I'm really talking about. I know that I'm all over the place, but the point is that we have to envelop each other in the DMV because listen, it's a new generation. When I started this, I was coming up with the Wale's and the Fatrells and all these different people. You know what I mean, and the Logics, and now there's a whole new generation of kids out here, with the Shy Glizzies and this and that, and I don't know half of them on the DMV list.
How do you feel about that music?
I think that the list that they come out with every year is absolutely BS. I think it's wrong. How are you going to have top 5 and not have Logic, Wale, or Fatrell in that, or Shy Glizzy?
Maybe they're too big. They want to give some underground people a choice.
Well.
But you have a show. You have a list.
You're right. Everybody has asked me to make a list for like 5 years, and I'm trying not to make that list because I once said who the top DJ was, and I won't name any names, and I got so much shit for that from other DJs. Oh, yes. You know what I mean?
You gotta hide behind a panel.
Very true. Very true. I have never had a panel on this one show. I've had a couple of people, but we can.
It doesn't even have to be a real panel.
I want to bring some people on so we can talk about that because hip hop is my life. Like, I'm an older school person, but I love hip hop. But what I don't like is mumble rap. So it's really
hard. Now, wait a minute. Now that's the young thing that's coming up, and a lot of people are on that, and they do that. Maybe you can learn to appreciate it.
So instead of saying, okay, I don't like all of mumble rap, then to just be like, okay, there's certain artists I can't kind of rock with, but I appreciate. I mean, like, I used to hate on the Migos so bad. Like, I used to be like, what the fuck is this? Like, I can't stand it. This was horrible. Like, and I did an interview with Joe Claire, and he said, listen, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. He sat on my stage and said, they created a whole new wave, which is kind of like hating on Soulja Boy at the time. Everybody hates on Soulja Boy, but he created a whole new wave and a whole new sound.
He got his money in the meantime, so he was supporting himself and his family.
Right.
So I can't hate on that aspect.
Right.
Now, is it Da Vinci? No. Is it no.
Is it Shakespeare? No. But it just takes away from me.
You would want to support rather than tear down.
Right. That's where I'm at now.
But there are some content that these people progress and push out that isn't necessarily good for the society.
Right.
And so I'm not scared to address that per se. I have a studio. I hear a lot of
the same shit, the same bird sounds, the same.
Oh my God!
Exactly.
They're getting good at it.
I don't want to hear a bird sound in my song. Okay?
I be like,
yes. Da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like the same cadence over and over. It just drives me crazy because Big Punisher is my number one.
Oh, wow. You like Big Pun?
Yeah. So imagine me listening to Big Pun growing up, that being the soundtrack, Capital Punishment being the soundtrack of my life. I was living Capital Punishment.
Run through some words.
Right? Dead in the middle of little. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To go to...
Right.
I can't do it. I can't. And so it just makes me want to. But with that said, everything comes full circle. And a lot of times these people are reusing. There was a song I listened to, who was it? Travis Scott, and he had remade the Goody Mob. What is it? Who's that peeping in my window? Pow, nobody not. He remade that, with that. And I was like, oh my God, that's dope. So they're still taking from the older.
And that's what hip hop did.
That's what hip hop does, right? You know? So I'm opening up a little bit.
It's a big 10.
I'm getting spread eagle a little bit to this new wave freshman class.
There are Japanese people that can beatbox and breakdance better than.
Honestly, yes.
You know what I mean?
And most of it's illegal in Japan.
Is it? Wow.
Tattoos are illegal, and all of these types of different things that are hip hop culture are still illegal in that society. They do underground because, and my nephew's half Japanese, which is why I know that. But it's like. Yeah, they want our swag and they do it amazingly well sometimes.
And they actually do it well,
right? But there are some people that I never thought I would say be fans of, like Sway Lee or YB and Namir, or all these different people who I never thought I would say I was fans of.
Because they might not follow the traditional
they don't.
tracks that you are used to listening
right.
to. But we can open the 10 up and we can let a few people in, though they might look or sound a little bit different.
Correct. I'm going to open the door, let a couple people in, and then close it. And then there's that little dog door at the bottom where some people kind of get in there. I realized as I was getting older, I was shaking my fist at the young teens a lot.
Yes,
do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So I had to stop myself because I am still a part of this younger generation and still a little bit older school. You know what I mean?
Well, you can take your older. First of all, when we grew up, there weren't no 50, 60-year-old rappers. You know
right.
What I'm saying? So it was all kind of in a certain age genre.
Mm-hmm.
But as we grow up and mature and are able to express ourselves in different ways,
right?
It's like we're going to look at things a little bit different.
Correct.
And also still be a part of that.
Yes.
Because we came up out of that.
Yes. So I still have to be aware and pay homage and still have to be down and open and know what's going on in music. Because touring with like Mr. Cheeks and the Lost Boys, I'm hardcore hip hop. Yeah. So it's taken a lot out of me to, just kind of not be so, to just be impartial. And to just kind of say there's still some really dope music that's coming out. Yeah, it's music.
It's music, right?
Right? So there's a lot of people I listen to with just that one hit record they have going on, but I actually go into the album like, damn, I never listened to all these dope-ass songs.
Well,
like,
I got 5-1 up. You used to like that song?
Loonies,
yeah. Where they at now?
It's hard, but I love a one-hit wonder, though, because when I get to go travel and tour, and there's this whole resurgence of 90s hip-hop and R&B, and I get to see these people who made these one-hits. Right. They're getting paid $10 a pop to perform the hip-hop arrays and all these different, and I'm not talking about you, Tretch, because I want you. I didn't mean that. I really want some of Tretch. Listen, this property can be his. Sorry, you guys. I literally am going off the rails today. Too much coffee? But no. I really... no, that's literally just Sierra Mist. Who knew? But yeah, I am trying to make sure that I'm impartial and I stay open because it's a whole new generation. And remember, I'm not making music. I am here to highlight and have a platform of people in the media, which is why I was going to go to the Titan Awards and do a red carpet. Do something that's completely something I haven't done because I've done everything else. I've been on I've done all the shows and stuff, but this is a moment to kind of sit there and actually do interviews here with our locals. I'm just trying to make sure that my cameraman isn't on tour. But if I can't, I'll still be there to support and giving away giving an award and all these different things because I still want the community to know I still love you, even though, half of you are still like.
Well, you got a playlist, right? I'm sure, and they may not make the playlist.
Right.
But they're somewhere in the universe.
Somebody's listening somewhere.
Somebody's listening.
Right.
Once in a while, you can download one of these and just give it a listen to spin.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm here for, to make sure that the public knows about our Mike D'Angelos, our Just Pauls, our Pinky Killacorns, our, you know what I mean?
Because you wouldn't know that just by turn the TV on. You only see a certain slim view of what this is.
Right.
It's really a lot broader than that.
There's a huge spider web of artists. Literally 6
I like what y'all did over in California with it. Really over there from the beginning, but just with the whole with the hyphy movement and all of that stuff.
Shout out to Oakland. Yeah. And you know what? And with California, you made a great point. Like we kind of band together and support each other when obviously there's no like gang stuff. But even now you see people who are normally Crip hanging with Bloods, and like because the music is bringing everybody together.
If I was always thought if I was over in that environment, I wouldn't be a Crip or Blood. I'd probably be part of the hieroglyphics movement. Remember that? Yeah. They were
just kind of be like in between.
But I remember the alcoholics I used to like a lot too. And I'm like, what happened to them?
It's hard, things that did change, and every different place has their moment. The hyphy, the West Coast, and then the South. And growing up in the South, when I went to high school in Florida, in Jacksonville, we literally had a day that was called Come Together Day. And so 95 South would come, and Bun B, and all these people would come from the South and just band together, called Come Together Day. And that's what we did, and it was dope.
That's much better than Freaknik.
It is. Yeah. Oh, my God, yes. Can I just say that Uncle Luke is like the only rapper that's been mean to me? But anyway, I think because I had my top on, he just wasn't happy with me. So speaking of Freaknik, sorry Luke, I'll never let you live it down. But with that said, I think if the DMV could come together and do something like that where we actually support each other instead of tearing each other down, that'd be great. But it's like the same repetitive thing over and over again. We have to come together. We have to crab in a barrel. Like, I am all crabbed in a barrel talk out. Like, either we're going to do it or we're not. But instead of saying, we're not going to do it, I'm just going to every man for themselves and blah, blah, I'm still going to be here doing what I do best, bringing people together. Because if people that are in this position don't continue to do that, we're not going to have that. If there's nobody impartial who doesn't see competition with anybody, then where are we going to go?
Right.
So coming up in I would say a week or two, on a Wednesday I'll be here. Maybe you'll be here. On a Wednesday, a special edition, Fantastic Live with DJ Cool. Let me clear my throat. DJ Cool, who just got off tour with...
He's going to be here with you?
Hell yeah, he's going to be here with me. And I don't remember who he just was with Snoop someplace or whatever. But anyway, I want to say shout out to you, DJ Cool, for always... The heck? Yeah, I'm over past my time. When he scares me, we know it's time to go. Shout out to DJ Cool for wanting to be on the show, for hitting me up and saying, let's do this. So be paying attention on a Wednesday, because I got to make special circumstances for special guests. So just, stay tuned. I'm going to drop the flyer any day. I want you guys to call me, ask him anything, and then we will have an amazing time. So thank you so much, Shy, for letting me be here and go over my time. I really appreciate that. I'll be back here next week, hopefully, and on time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Fantastic Live Show. I'm MC Fran. I will see you. Bye. Thank you, baby.